Lenovo does a really great job making gaming laptops, especially here in the Legion line, and I always like Legion gaming laptops because not only does Lenovo put in a lot of high-end components, CPUs, GPUs, lots of RAM and all that, but they also take all the experience that Lenovo has over decades of making things like ThinkPad laptops, and they bring in a lot of that ergonomic expertise with the keyboards and a lot of the system software that's actually useful and easy to take advantage of, and they put all that together so you get the power of a gaming laptop, but all the advantages and all the things Lenovo has learned over the years about how to make just a really good, useful laptop. And of course, even though it's a gaming laptop, if you ignore the backlit keyboard for a second, this could actually pass for a non-gaming laptop, a high-end creator's laptop, and with a really great display, and again, that high-end CPU-GPU combo, you can definitely use this for Photoshop, for video editing, for 3D designing, all kinds of creative tasks, and then do a little bit of gaming on the side, but you don't look like you've got a laptop that just screams gamer at you all day long. The display is one of my favorite parts about this system. It's a 16-inch display. It's a 2560 by 1600, 16 by 10 aspect ratio screen. And to me, they call that QHD, they call that 2K sometimes. It's my favorite resolution for a gaming laptop of this size. Regular 1920 by 1080 is too low. If you have a 14 or 15-inch laptop, it's fine. If you go all the way up to a 4K screen, that's also really great, but it's going to kill your battery life and it takes a lot more power to drive. And if you're doing a lot of gaming, especially brand new games, you're probably not going to play them at 4K resolution. You're going to knock the resolution down in order to get really good frame rates. Another thing that really makes this particular screen stand out is that it's a 240 hertz screen. It's got a really high refresh rate. So if you're playing competitive games, you're playing Fortnite, esports, anything like that, you're going to be able to get these really high frame rates and you're going to actually see those frames displayed on the screen. That's why competitive gamers really like high refresh rate displays, or if they're using a laptop, they like really high refresh rate laptops. It's also an IPS display, which means that it looks good from side angles. Anything short of upgrading to an even more expensive OLED display, this is about as good a display as you're going to find in a gaming laptop right now. It also supports Dolby Vision for HDR, and with the X-Rite color assistant, you can pick profiles for different color gamuts, whether it's DCI-P3 or sRGB or anything like that. Now in this particular case, I've got an Intel Core i9 CPU and it's paired with an Nvidia RTX 4080 GPU. And on top of that, you have 32 gigs of RAM, which is really what I would look for if I was going to buy a premium gaming laptop right now. And of course, all that power means cooling is going to be very important, and Lenovo puts a lot of thought into cooling for systems like this. First of all, you can jump between fan presets with the function key plus Q, and you can jump between a performance preset, a balance preset, and a quiet preset, which will keep the fan noise down. And then behind the scenes of all that, there's a lot of automated balancing between power and cooling that happens, and Lenovo manages all this through a system they call AI Engine Plus. I also like that even though this is a reasonably slim, reasonably lightweight laptop for a 16-inch gaming laptop, you still get a lot of ports and connections with that, and that's something that both gamers and creators really need. You get 2 USB-C ports, one of which is also a Thunderbolt port. You get 4 USB-A ports, 1 on each side and 2 in the back. You get HDMI out, you get an Ethernet in, and with that combination of stuff, things you don't have to have, an extra dongle or something to carry around with you. You get pretty much anything you need to connect this to. Accessories, external hard drives, connect your mice, your keyboards, external storage, anything like that. And one thing I always like to see, there's an actual physical switch here that's going to turn off the webcam if you hit it. It's the 1080 webcam, which is nice. And then you can just use the switch to turn off the access to the webcam if you want to make sure that it's not on. One thing that Lenovo has always done really well is make really great keyboards, because they've been making things like ThinkPad keyboards for decades, and people really demand a lot from those keyboards, and a lot of research has gone into making them very useful, comfortable, easy to use, ergonomic, so you get a lot of that advantage here in these Lenovo keyboards. I like that a lot of these systems have these, widely spaced flat keys that curve down a little bit at the bottom. They have a little bit of a convex curve to the bottom of them that I find helps me avoid missing keys when I'm typing, and that's something that's a Lenovo, design signature that you see on a lot of their systems. And of course, because it is a gaming laptop, you do have the per-key RGB lighting, and you can set it up with a whole bunch of different preset patterns, or you can customize it. There's even a little light bar in the front that goes along with that and matches whatever color pattern you have. And again, if you want to move away from gaming mode for a little while and get some work done, you can turn those backlights off. Another thing Lenovo does really well is have system software that's actually useful. The Lenovo Vantage software package here will let you keep track of, let's say, the heat on your CPU and how fast it's running. There's some software-based GPU overclocking you could turn on with just a switch, and you can jump between a lot of different modes and do a lot of settings from within that. And I always find that very handy to have all these things under one roof. Of course, since this is a gaming laptop, beyond just the regular benchmarking that I normally do, I of course had to try some games out on it. And what's the one game you're going to try in a gaming laptop right now? That's going to be Dragon's Dogma 2. I set it on the default high detail settings at full 2560 by 1600 resolution, and I ran around in the game, especially in one of the towns where the frame rate can really drop out because there's a lot of NPC characters in there, and I was running in the 70s easy in there. And if you're out in the wilderness, it's going to be even better. So I've seen people struggle on very powerful PCs to even get 30 frames per second playing Dragon's Dogma 2 in a town full of people, which is one of the toughest things that this game does. I was in the 60s and 70s, so I was very pleased with that result. I think the Lenovo Legion Pro7i is a great gaming laptop that doesn't necessarily have to look like a gaming laptop, and it's also an excellent creative hub. Now, other PC makers can match the performance and components, but what Lenovo brings here is all their years of experience building these really great keyboards and really great software interfaces, and that's what helps it stand out from that crowd.